HACCP, VACCP and TACCP. They all sound very similar and they all are involved in the safety of food we manufacture. So what are the similarities and what is exactly the difference? Let's understand in this video. Welcome back to QA Learning Hub. This is Shariar Ahmed and without further ado, let's start the comparison. Point number 1. HACCP, which is Hazards Analysis and Critical Control Point, and most of the countries' food legal requirements and also international standards, either it is GFSI recognized or not, have the requirement of complying with HACCP principles. HACCP is itself a standard, but yes, in a HACCP standard, there are certain other additional requirements. VACCP, which is Vulnerability Assessment Critical Control Point, also known as food fraud, and all the GFSI recognized standards have the requirement of complying with food fraud. TACCP, which is Threat Assessment Critical Control Point and also known as food defense, and again all the GFSI recognized standards have the requirement of complying with food defense requirements in their standards. Point number 2. HACCP is a process for analyzing hazards, which are mainly of 3 types: physical, chemical and microbial, in raw materials, packaging materials, ingredients and process flows, and determining the most critical point and then developing their controls. VACCP is a process for analyzing and assessing vulnerabilities, means weaknesses, in raw materials and packaging materials to determine the risk of any fraudulent activity in terms of counterfeiting, substitution, mislabeling, etc. Food threat is a process for analyzing and assessing threats in the food industry to determine the high risk area for any intentional malicious activity and then determining their controls. Point number 3. HACCP is a food safety approach that controls the unintentional hazards that can be mistakenly added to the product during processing of food. VACCP is again a food safety approach that controls the intentional hazards which are added to the product deliberately and intentionally in order to get the economical gain. Whereas TACCP is again a food safety approach and it controls the hazards that can be added intentionally and deliberately to the product, but the theme and the intention is to harm the consumer. Point number 4. HACCP is mainly applicable on production flow. VACCP is mainly applicable on supply chain, raw materials, ingredients and packaging materials. Whereas TACCP requires a wider range than HACCP and VACCP, as it covers the issues such as IT, transportation, manufacturing plant, employees background check, etc. So these are the 4 points. Hope this video will help you to understand the basic concepts of HACCP, VACCP and TACCP. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in next video.